Hi, I'm Marci Degman, the Aspiring Gardener. Today we're going to divide and plant peonies. Now what I've got is a fairly young plant, so it doesn't have quite the tubers that you might find. A lot of times when you dig up herbaceous peonies, you'll find almost like a sweet potato looking root. And when they get that mature and they're that large, what you want to do is you want to look for what they call eyes, and that's dots. You'll see little dots throughout, and you can actually cut those tubers and separate them into plants by making sure you have 2 or 3 eyes per piece. So you cut it like a potato. But this one hasn't quite developed the big tubers yet, I don't think, because it's a pretty new one. I planted it over here because it was given to me, but it's not happy. It did not bloom, so I'm going to divide it up and move it to another position with more sun. So I'm going to go ahead and dig around the ball. You can kind of tell the size of the plant. You want to dig all of it. You don't want to chop it up if you can help it till you're ready. So go around the plant. What I want to do is pull it up in one clump at first and take a look at it. Okay. Now if you see this little tuber here, it's kind of got that orange color. It really does have the color of a sweet potato, but that root will get larger and larger until they could be just probably this size, maybe 10 inches long and maybe 3 or 4 inches wide. So right now I'm not going to be dividing those because they're not big enough, but what I can do is divide the clump. So I'm going to do is I'm going to decide how many plants I want to make out of this. I could probably easily make 3 plants out of this peony by dividing it here and here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to sever this little small part for you to kind of show you. You're just basically going to divide it like you would a daylily or a hosta or anything else. And you want to make sure that you have a clump of roots. So that's a nice clump. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to cut away the foliage. That's going to not survive transplanting. You can leave it if you want, but it will wilt, so either way. But I'm going to go ahead and just cut it. That way the energy can go to the root, not to the plant withering. So now you can kind of see real easily what I've got here. I'm just going to dig a hole. Wherever you decide that you're going to plant this, you just dig yourself another hole. What you want to be careful of with peonies is not to bury them too deep. If you bury it too deep, they won't bloom. So I'm just going to take and chop this up. And take a look at what you have. I have maybe 6 inches here. I want to have the top of this root just maybe an inch below the surface of the soil. That's the biggest tip I can give you on planting peonies, is making sure they're not too deep. The best time to do this is usually in the fall after they've bloomed or they're done for the year. You can do it in early spring, but I think the fall's the best time. That way they can recover and you might have a chance of getting flowers the next year. If they don't bloom for a year, that's normal when you've transplanted. So you're just going to bury that just barely below the soil surface. And that's how you transplant and divide a peony.